All right, let's talk about Magnus Carlsen. For years, he's been the highest-rated chess player in history. Ever since he became world champion back in 2013, his reign has just been legendary. So the big question is, what's his secret? What makes him so ridiculously hard to beat year after year?
I think this quote from his rival, Vladimir Kramnik, is the perfect place to start. It just gets right to the heart of everything. Think about that. For Magnus, there's no other option. He needs to win. This isn't just a desire, it's a deep psychological drive. And that, right there, is the first real key to understanding his genius. Because, before we even get to the moves on the chessboard, we've got to understand the foundation his success is built on. It's not just about strategy or tactics. It's about this incredible psychological strength that was being built long, long before he was ever a world champion.
And what's so fascinating is where this focus came from. His sister talks about how, as a little kid, he could sit for hours completely lost in building with Lego. Just total, deep concentration. So that ability to just tune everything out, it was there from the very beginning.
And it wasn't long before that focus latched onto chess. Picture this. You're a kid, you get home from school, and you immediately sit down at the chessboard for 5 straight hours. His parents literally had to make him go to bed. That's more than just practice, that's a true obsession.
So what's fueling that obsession? Well, in his own words, it's pretty simple. Competition. For Carlsen, the fight, the back and forth, the pure struggle against another mind, that's the engine. It's what drives him to get better every single day.
So when you put it all together, you get this champion's mindset that's just almost impossible to crack. He's got this incredible mental resilience, so a tough loss doesn't send him into a tailspin. He keeps a positive outlook. Even when he's not playing well, he'll say he feels like the next game is his. And it's all tied to this burning desire to learn and his absolute refusal to give up in any position.
Okay, so that's the mindset. Now let's move to the chessboard and see how all of that mental strength translates into his actual technique. It lets him use a playing style that's famously hard to prepare for, a style people call universal. So what does universal player really mean? Well, it means he doesn't have a weak spot. It doesn't matter if the game is a slow, strategic grind or a crazy tactical fight, Magnus is right at home. And that makes him a total nightmare to play against, because there's no type of position you can drag him into where he's going to feel uncomfortable. Vladimir Kramnik described it perfectly. He said Carlsen sees the whole board. He's not just thinking about one piece at a time. He has this deep, intuitive feel for the entire strategic picture, kind of like the old masters. But, and this is key, he combines that old-school strategic base with the ruthless, precise calculation of a modern player raised on computers. And when we say calculation, we're talking about this level. In really complicated spots, Carlsen can see the game branching out 15, sometimes even 20 moves deep. Just try to wrap your head around that. It's this incredible processing power that lets him walk through tactical minefields that would blow up almost anyone else.
And this is really where you see the difference. A lot of top players spend a ton of time on their opening preparation, but Magnus is totally unpredictable. Others are amazing in certain kinds of positions, but he excels in all of them. And while many players hunt for that one sharp, decisive attack, Carlsen is the master of slow, grinding, relentless pressure.
This right here is his signature weapon. He can take a position that looks totally equal, maybe even a little bit boring or lifeless, and just start to squeeze. For hours, he'll make tiny little improvements, posing problem after problem, until his opponent, just from pure mental exhaustion, finally makes a mistake.
But there's one last piece to this puzzle. And honestly, this might be the single biggest thing that separates him from the pack. He doesn't just see chess as a board game, he approaches it like a full-blown professional athlete. And the logic behind it is simple, but it's really profound. A top-level chess match can go for 6, maybe 7 hours, and staying completely focused for that long isn't just a mental challenge, it's a physical one. A tired body leads to a tired mind, and a tired mind, well, that's when you blunder. So if you look at his training routine, it looks more like something a tennis pro would do. He's on the treadmill building his cardio so he doesn't get tired in hour 5. He plays football for stamina and agility. And a huge part of his routine is yoga, which he uses not just for flexibility, but for mental calm and managing stress. And that athletic discipline goes way beyond just working out. It's the fundamentals. He's made getting 9 hours of sleep a priority since he was a kid.
He makes sure he's eating healthy to fuel his brain and staying hydrated. And, just as important, he knows he needs balance, so he takes breaks from chess to keep his mind fresh and avoid burning out.
All right, so let's put it all together. When you take his mindset, his on-the-board technique, and his physical discipline, you start to see this complete, powerful formula for total dominance.
So here it is, the formula. You've got the mindset, that absolute, unbreakable need to win. Then you've got the technique, that universal style that can beat you from any position on the board. And finally, you have the physicality, treating his body like an elite athlete's to keep his mind sharp. Each piece supports the others, and the result is just a champion.
And this last quote from Magnus himself just sums up his entire philosophy perfectly. For some players, chess is about finding a beautiful, artistic combination. For Magnus, it's a sport. It's about competition. It's about getting the win, and he's happy to do it any way he can.
So that kind of leaves us with one final question to think about. This formula, this mix of an obsessive mindset, a deep and versatile skill set, and a holistic athletic approach to performance, is that something that only works on a chessboard? Or could that be a blueprint for greatness in, well, just about anything?